guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, your weekly update for everything that is happening in store. We will of course get to all the new releases as we always do. Tons of new graphic novels in this week, the new releases for New Comic Book Day on Wednesday, variants and so forth. Just a quick couple of things first of all. So the new previews books have arrived. So these are going to be the July solicitations for release in September and beyond. And tons of cracking titles in it. I've already done the Marvel and DC previews board. I'm going to be doing the previews board on Thursday. Obviously I'm not here Wednesdays. But yeah, tons of great stuff. So any pre-orders, of course, let us know. Tons of jumping on points, guys. You know, jumping on points for Captain America, for Daredevil, for Batman and Robin, for Wonder Woman, for The Flash. Not associated with the movie, I promise. Tons of great stuff in there, as I say. We will, of course, do our usual previews podcast. And I'm going to do a little previews video as well, hopefully on Thursday as well as that, just to pick out the top things from that. So the cutoff point for that's a couple of weeks from now, so tons of time to get any pre-orders in. Just as always, to guarantee those first print cover A's and always at cover price on release day as well. Anybody who has anything away with us from CTC, those are due this week as well. I'm hoping that they will arrive by Thursday. I will, of course, put it out in social media when they are arrived and processed and ready for collection. So tons of stuff coming back there. We have a cutoff point at the end of this month if there's anything you'd like to drop into us to send off. And we can certainly organise that for you as well. So yeah, just with CGC stuff, it takes anywhere at the moment from sort of 8 to 12 weeks turnaround thereabouts. And we'll always let you know when they're on their way back or in the store as well. And then yeah, we'll just jump into what's coming out this week. As I say, it's a little bit of a lighter week single issue wise, still some fantastic stuff. But what I've done this week, I've done a lot of topping up on the graphic novels. I went massive on the Brubaker Phillips stuff. They obviously released Night Fever recently. That's sold out for us, so we've got that back in, as well as some of their other works, just in case you like that. You know, we always say that people follow creators rather than characters. We did a big order on Doctor Who graphic novels, which I don't actually have here. They're sitting over to the side, but honestly, it's a pile from here to here. You know, it's graphic novels on the 9th Doctor, the 10th Doctor, the 11th Doctor, 12th Doctor. Tons of stuff there going out as well. And all price below RRP as well. So yeah, you can check those out in store. I've got like a new little sort of licensed area just over here. So it's got like The Boys on it and James Bond on it. And that's where the Doctor Who stuff's going to go. It's got Jim Dresden files on there as well. So yeah, some good stuff over there, just more licensed or properties you might be familiar with. But yeah, jumping into this week anyway, so I'll kick things off with single issues. Let's have a look here. As I say, I'd say there's not lots out. There's lots out nearly every week, but you know, just in terms of sometimes there's bigger series out than others. Move that along a little bit. So kick things off the indie side of things. We have Vampirella versus the Superpowers. This is issue 2 of this miniseries from Dynamite Studios. We got restocks in of Void Rivals. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you really should check this out. It's a fantastic title anyway, but it's also launching some very exciting stuff in the Image Comics universe. We have Spawn Scorched in this week as well. We're up to issue 19. These Spawn spin-offs have been doing really, really well on plenty of pull lists with us, and it's just making the idea of approaching the Spawn universe a bit more palatable. You know, instead of having to jump into a main series that's 320 plus issues deep at this point, you've got these spin-off series you can jump onto. Next up is The Savage Strength of Starstorm. This is from Drew Craig, who is Wes Craig's brother. This is issue 2. We have issue 1 on the shelf. Highly recommend this. It's got a very Kirby-esque feeling to it. You know, tons of imagination. The art style is quite similar to Jack Kirby as well. I mean, this is a comic that would not have looked out of place in terms of the imagination back when he was launching things like The Fourth World and like Eternals and stuff like that. So highly recommend that. I'm a big fan of that. We've got a Godzilla one-shot, which is the best of Rodan. So of course, collecting some of the best stories from over the years. With these, you don't tend to have new material in there. It's just reprints of older, but it's all put into one edition. We have Creed The Next Round, which is a follow-up to the Creed 3 movie. It's a bit of an odd one, this, I have to say. It's not really something I expected to come into a comic, but I suppose why not? So yeah, Creed The Next Round kicks off this week. We've got Burnmore, which is a brand new IDW original from Steve Niles and Damian Worm on art. Steve Niles, of course, creator of 30 Days of Night, amongst many other things, but probably his most well-known. So new horror series kicking off this week. We got restocks of Titans in, we sold through that as well. So more issue 2s back in stock there. We have new Action Comics this week. So Action Comics is continuing to be from Philip Kennedy Johnson, Rafa Sandoval on art. It also includes the bonus features Lois and Clark and Steel as well. We have Batman, the Brave and the Bold. I may have already read this, and this is shaping up to be one of the best Batman Joker stories of all time. It's going to be serialized across a few issues of this. This is part 2. Wow, Tom King, Mitch Dreads, they are doing some great stuff here. I really hope it's collected in like its own volume at the end, because I think that would be a great seller, just having that on its own. We have the next issue of City Boy, so from Greg Pak, I should say, and Min Kyu Young on art. This is continuing on the We Are Legends title. Issue 1 of this was great, very heartbreaking issue 1, I have to say, but setting up some really good stuff. The We Are Legends range in general, I think, is off to a really strong start. Next up, we have Detective Comics, so Ram V continuing on with his great Detective Comics run. Got Ivan Rice on art for this one as well. Just look at that cover, absolutely insane. Next up, we have the next issue of Green Arrow, so we're up to issue 3 for the Dawn of DC relaunch with this. So Joshua Williamson, Sean Isaac on art. And of course, this was a series announced as 6 issues, but due to sales and feedback, it's going as far as 12 issues so far. Next up, we have the next issue from Tini Howard of Harley Quinn. We're up to issue 31 here. So this has not long been a new creative team, so it's a good time to jump into Harley Quinn if that's a character you enjoy. We have the next issue of The Riddler Year 1. So of course, Paul Dano doing this. With Stefan Subic on art, continuing on the prequel stuff to the Batman movie, and some really, really good stuff. This issue is told in a really unique way. I'll say no more than that. Next up is Amazing Spider-Man, issue 28. So Zeb Wells, Ed McGuinness on art for this. I found Amazing Spider-Man really interesting at the moment. For a while there, it was easily our biggest Marvel pull, but it seems to have lost about 15 to 20% of its readers or pulls anyway in the last month or so, and I have no idea why, because I think it's class. And this new interpretation of Doc Ock is brilliant. Read this issue this morning, great art, really good storytelling, so I'm not sure what's happening, but it seems like more of a pattern. Obviously people not enjoying the run, which is completely fair, but just for me, I think it's really, really good. Carnage Reigns Omega, so we're getting to the end of the Carnage Reigns crossover. Of course, that was through Carnage, through Miles Morales, through an issue of Red Goblin, and now the Carnage Reigns Omega issue. So no doubt that'll be collected into a trade paperback very soon. We have new Deadpool out this week as well. Alyssa Wong continuing on with their take on Wade Wilson. So yeah, Deadpool, we're up to number 8. Next up is Ghost Rider, one of my personal favourite titles through Marvel Comics at the moment, with Benjamin Percy writing, Corey Smith on art. This is probably the most adult title Marvel are doing at the moment, in terms of just over-the-top gore, uneasiness, horror, although Incredible Hulk 1 may have something to say about that because it was awesome as well. Speaking of adult titles through Marvel Comics, we have Predator. Robbers has issue 4 now for Ed Brisson's run on this, with Natho Diaz on art. Issue 4 Predator. Continuing on with She-Hulk as well this week. So Rainbow Rowell continuing their run on She-Hulk up as far as issue 14. I always love the corner boxes. I've said this before. They need to incorporate this into more Marvel comics and DC comics as well. Next issue of Star Wars Darth Vader, Black, White and Red. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, this has a standalone one-shot story in it from Daniel Warren Johnson. He of Wonder Woman, Dead Earth and Do a Powerbomb fame, and that alone is enough to get me to read this, and I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy. But yeah, issue 3 of Black, White and Red there. We have Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 33 to finish off. Again, Alyssa Wong continuing on with the Dr. Aphra stuff. And that leaves us just with a few variants to show off. So first of all, we have Detective Comics 1073. This is the retailer incentive 1 to 25 variant, done by Martin Simmons, of course, really well known for Department of Truth these days, but an absolutely glorious 1 to 25 incentive there. Speaking of Daniel Warren Johnson, he has done a kick-ass variant this week for Thor. This is Thor number 35. This is the last issue of Thor before the rebranding and the new creative team comes along with the Immortal Thor. Next up, we have from Rafa Sandoval, we have the Action Comics 1056 variant covers with some new characters being showcased there. we have the Harley Quinn Pride variant, issue 31. This is part of a connecting variant with the Poison Ivy issue. We do have the Poison Ivy connecting side for it, so comes this side, connecting cover there from Claire Rowe. Next up, we have the Bruno Redondo variant for Riddler Year 1. Again, beautiful variant. Hardly surprising when Bruno Redondo is involved, of course, the Nightwing artist of choice these days. And just a really cool, unsettling variant there. And then we finish off with the In-Hyuk Lee variant for City Boy. So City Boy number 2 here, obviously showcasing some Superman action there as well. So we move away from that and on to the graphic novel side of things. So as I say, there's a big collection of new stuff this week. And again, you've got those reorders, as I say, for the Brubaker Phillips stuff. You've got the big run of Doctor Who stuff that we were talking about as well. But I really did go pretty big this week. And again, if you're a fan of Brubaker Phillips, first of all, why wouldn't you be? And second of all, if you're not, you're going to be by the time I'm finished with you, I can assure you. So yeah, to kick things off, as I said, I mentioned Night Fever. So this was a brand new original graphic novel, came out a few weeks back. We sold through our orders of this, and then we've got it back in stock this week again. So one shot, completely independent of anything else. You can just read that and you'll just see how special a creative team these guys are. I mentioned Do a Powerbomb, of course, Daniel Warren Johnson. Our favorite graphic novel, well, my favorite graphic novel of last year. Wrestling meets Dragon Ball Z, and just a ton of heart, amazing storytelling, and again another one and done there. So we're on to the Brubaker Phillips type stuff here. So we have Pulp, first of all, which was in the running for our favorite graphic novel 2 years ago. They were pipped to the post for my choice just about, and that was also by Daniel Warren Johnson. But that was for a title, Wonder Woman Dead Earth. But yeah, phenomenal book about how a man can be a titan in one era but nothing in the next. Really, really good title. Next up, we have A Bad Weekend. Again, another one-shot book from Brubaker Phillips. This is all about a comic artist who was screwed over years ago out of royalties and has come back and he wants to make some money, even if he has to be a little bit untoward about it. We have the full run in for Fatale, so 5 volumes in total. Brubaker Phillips, Noir meets Cthulhu. I can't say enough about this series. This is the complete run of it, all 5 volumes. Fantastic storytelling. Next up, breaking the Brubaker Phillips curse or joy, whatever you want to say. Breaking the run of Brubaker Phillips. We have Trojan from Daniel Kraus and Lacey. This was a 4-issue mini-series through AWA Comics. Again, always genre storytelling, always one-shot stories, and always easy for new readers and old readers alike. Speaking of complete runs of things, and speaking of Brubaker Phillips, we have the complete run of Reckless back in stock. So 5 books so far. The great thing about the Reckless books is you can read them in any order because the eras jump all over the place. The only thing to do is read Reckless first of all. After that, you can honestly jump into them in any order. You have Destroy All Monsters, you have Follow Me Down, you have Friend of the Devil, and we have The Ghost in You as well. So all 5 volumes are, and again, some of the absolute best storytelling being told in comics right now. A couple of Marvel Epic collections for you next. So first of all, we have Captain America, The Secret Empire. No, not that one. This is actually a story from 1973 and 1974. This collects Captain America 160 to 179. This was Steve Englehart and Sal Buscema, who was taking Captain America and the Falcon on a journey through the madness and machinations of Dr. Faustus. So a shocking saga that helped define Captain America for the 70s. Next up, we have Amazing Spider-Man. This is Ghosts of the Past. So this is volume 15 of the Epic Collections. This covers 1984 to 1986. And this covers Amazing Spider-Man 259 to 272. There's a couple of annuals in there as well, 18 and 19. And we have the Web of Spider-Man number 1 and number 6 in there as well. I mean, you've got characters in this such as Hobgoblin, Norman Osborn. You've got Scorpion, got Kingpin. We've got what else for Black Fox, Crusher Hogan, and the debuts of Silver Sable and Slide as well. Next up, we have The Punisher. This is volume 2 of the Epic Collections for Punisher. This is when Punisher went solo, so to speak. Used to be the Punisher was just in things like Amazing Spider-Man and other titles just working their way through, but this is where the Punisher went solo. So this is volume 2. This covers 1986 to 1988. Covers Punisher 1 to 5, followed by the second volume of Punisher, which is 1 to 10. It has Daredevil issue 257 in here, and also the Marvel graphic novel Punisher, Assassin's Guild. So even though this is volume 2, in a way this is kind of volume 1, because again, it focuses on when the Punisher went into their own solo book. Next up we have Philadelphia, volume 5. So this collects issues 25 to 30 of one of the best horror books around right now. And I cannot begin to tell you how amazing a reveal there is at the end of issue 30. It totally changes this title for the better, in my opinion. We spoke about it on our podcast a couple of months back when we were reviewing issues, and Philadelphia 30 was one of my choices of the month, and you'll know why if you read it. Oh, that last issue, superb. We have Star Wars Darth Vader, Return of the Handmaiden, so up to volume 6 now of Greg Pak's run on Darth Vader. This collects issues 28 to 32. Next up was a bit of a restock as well, getting some of the White Knight stuff back in stock. So we have the very first volume of White Knight, of course, kicking off the Murphyverse. And then you have Batman White Knight Presents Harley Quinn. They said that this was a side title and you didn't need it. I think that is nonsense. It goes White Knight, then it goes Curse of the White Knight, which was your Azrael story. And this follows Curse of the White Knight like 2 years later. It's not a side story by any means, essential. Very, very good stuff. After that, we have another triple threat this week for DC's most recent event, which was Dark Crisis, which was then titled Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. So this is the complete main series from Joshua Williamson and Daniel Sampere. This was all 8 issues of that, plus Justice League 75, which was the death of the Justice League, which was setting this title up. But as well as that, you have separate books for some of the tie-ins. So first of all, you have Tales from Dark Crisis, like Joshua Williamson, Ram V, Mark Waid, Dan Jurgens working on this. So this collects things like Road to Dark Crisis, The Deadly Green, The Dark Army, Warzone, and Big Bang. So that's some of the tie-in ones. And then you also have Dark Crisis Worlds Without a Justice League. So this was a series of one-shots imagining a world without certain characters. So this was like your worlds without Aquaman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Satana, etc., etc. So yeah, really, really enjoyed this as well. So if you want your complete Dark Crisis fix, that is all of the individual volumes as well. We have a big volume here of The Flash. This is a search for Barry Allen. This was Jeremy Adams' last run on, or one of his last runs on Flash before it gets taken over to 800. So this contains The Flash 780 to 789, as well as The Flash Annual 2022. The Flash races into the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. They definitely have a theme going this week with the releases. Next up we have Spider-Man The Lost Hunt, so brand new graphic novel this week. This is a 5-issue mini-series from J.M. DeMatteis, editor Messias. As I say, 5 issues, and this goes back to Craven, so very well timed given the recent release of the trailer. Next up we have Star Wars The High Republic, The Blade, so Charles Soule continuing to play around in the Star Wars universe and also in the High Republic universe as well. So this is your complete 4-issue mini-series for that. Star Wars High Republic The Blade. Undoubtedly one of the books of the week is the latest volume of Nightwing, continues to be DC's best title. This is Nightwing The Battle for Bloodhaven's Heart. So we're up to Nightwing volume 3 now, technically volume 4 because you had a Fear State one as well. But this is issues 92 to 96, and again, just Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo continuing to do the Lord's work in Bloodhaven. And then a couple of hardcovers to finish things off with. Back in stock is TMNT The Last Ronin. Of course, this was one of the big events in the last couple of years, which was essentially imagining a world where there's only one turtle left, but which turtle is it? So that's a completely standalone and great for new readers as well. You just need to know the basics going into that. Next up is Coda from Cy Spurrier and Matthias Bergara. This is a book I don't know an awful lot about. It's a Boom Studios title. They're going to be bringing Coda back in single issues. It's in the September book, or sorry, the July book for September release as well. But that creative team is fire. Cy Spurrier, amazing on the Hellblazer recently, doing some great things at DC and Marvel at the moment. And the artist Matthias Bergara was the artist for Step by Bloody Step, which was a completely wordless graphic novel, which was fantastic. And then we finish things off with 2 glorious, glorious hardcovers. These are from Image Comics. They're from Giant Generator, which is the imprint owned and run by Rick Remender. And he always comes to the fore with these hardcover special editions. I mean, these are the size of Absolutes almost. More content than most Absolutes, and they're half the price. These both chop in at 45 quid each, and Absolutes 90 minimum. But first of all, you have The Scumbag, which was issues 1 to 14 of The World's Fate, resting with the worst person on it. This was fantastic. This is a book that it basically just really shone a light on modern America and what they perceive to be a hero. Really, really enjoyed this. As I say, 14 issues in total and some great artists working on that. But I have to finish off this week, of course I do, because you're probably bored listening to me, but I'm going to talk about it some more. And that is Deadly Class, hardcover, volume 4, Kids Will Be Skeletons, Rick Remender, Wes Craig, the end. And thank you. Yeah, this contains everything the whole way to the end of Deadly Class, so issues 45 to 56. We have all 4 volumes in stock. The Image hardcovers are just over to my side here. Quite simply, one of the best comics of all time. Don't care how hyperbolic that sounds, that's how good it is. And this was the end of it. And it ends so well. It ends bittersweetly, but also ends with a bit of hope, which I wasn't always expecting, because Rick Remender can be quite a cynical writer at times. But this ends... Oh, I can't say enough. I have a copy for myself, so of course I'm going to begin a reread of Deadly Class. I might even do something with that podcast-wise or YouTube-wise, I don't know just yet, but I'm a massive fan of this book, in case you didn't already know. But yeah, volume 4 out this week, completing the set. So there you go, that is all the new stuff out this week on New Comic Book Day, 28th of June. So tons of stuff. Pull lists are all ready to go. If you haven't been in a few weeks, please do pop in. The boxes are close to bursting. We obviously are always happy to hold stuff for people, but as long as it's coming to be picked up. So just if you haven't been in a while, please do pop in and collect. Or else if you don't want stuff anymore, please let us know. It's not hard. It just makes my life so much easier. But anyway, as I say, everything's good to go. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. I'll look forward to seeing you in the store throughout the week and beyond. So see you soon. Take it easy.